Chapter 2, Dirty Work. As Mandy stares you down, you find yourself at a loss for words. I'm Belle. I'm the replacement Ryder hired. At the mention of his name, Mandy turns back to Ryder, your presence all but forgotten. Your hiring staff hanging up on me. It's been a busy day for you, hasn't it? Excuse me if I figure it out towards your ass at like the end of the conversation. I don't know how I thought these two were together. This is so intense I'm surprised they're both even alive. As they bicker, you glance frantically between the two of them, desperate for a way to make it stop. Actually, I can explain, you see. I'm your hero. I heard you were in need of a new ranch hand, and I rode right out on my white Bronco to save the day. Extend your hand, and as Mandy takes it, you press your lips to her knuckles. Well, how gallant of you. You try not to sweat under her gaze, but her eyes sparkle like she's just seen a shiny new toy. So, you're the one here for the ranch position, huh? Mandy's gaze skates across her outfit, a smile curving her lips and making your heart hammer. Well, she certainly dressed the part. You made a good first impression. Mandy touches the lapel of your jacket, her perfume smelling like warm sunflowers as she leans in to examine the material. I have one just like this. I'd say we should be twins, but yours is nicer. I'm glad you like the outfit. Maybe I could model it for you sometime. You know, really give you an eyeful. Oh, I like you. Ryder clears his throat. If you two are done chatting it up, can I get back to my work? Mandy rolls her eyes, but appraises you seriously, her brow furrowed as she worries, her lip between her teeth. You're cute and all, but this is a tough job. Ryder said you're from uptown. You're sure you're up to it? She's definitely skeptical. I've got to say something to get her to think of me differently. Mandy. I'm in as long as my boss doesn't distract me. Having you around will be the hardest part of this job for sure. Well, I'm in my office most of the day, so you don't have to worry about that. What a shame. More like we're to flirt. Still, flattery will get you everywhere. You hold her gaze until hers dips lower, checking you out. It was Belle, right? Well, I don't know where you came from, but I like your attitude. Attitude isn't going to lift a 50-pound bale of hay, Mandy. She's your draft pick, so do you think she can handle it or not? Ryder's impassive gaze strikes you and you feel a nervous drop in your stomach. We just met. He has no reason to back me up. He could probably find someone in town with more experience in a heartbeat. There's no way he's gonna... I believe she can. You do? Ryder doesn't say another word, he just nods his head, his hat dipping low over his eyes. Well, let's do this thing. Belle, this is a little last minute, so why don't you give me a bit to get to my office ready for our interview? In the meantime, Ryder, show Belle around, would you? She flounces toward the house without waiting for a reply. Your eyes drift to the roundness of her ass, caressing by the denim of her jeans. Come on. Heifers are this way. You follow behind, trapezing through the grass, and as Mandy's words settle over you, panic sets in. Ryder, what am I gonna do? I don't know what to say to her. You did just fine a minute ago. What's this, pre-interview jitters? More like full-blown performance anxiety. I may have padded my resume a little back at the bar. Ryder stops and turns to face you. How much is a little? I know the basics. I'm pretty up to speed on lingo, how it all works. I've never actually put any of it into practice, though. He sighs, but meets your eyes with a grace you've seldom been afforded, which honestly shocks you more than his hostility would. I figured as much. You knew. Then why did you say you thought I could do it? Because I do. You hold your gaze intently, sending a chill running up your spine. As you shiver in Oklahoma heat, he looks away again, his voice quiet. I don't know your story, Belle, but last night you gave every impression that you needed to be here. I wanted to help you out. Thank you, Ryder. That's sweet of you. Grunts are replying, takes a tentative step back as if suddenly aware he's shown more of himself than you knew was there. Well, people tend to perform when failure is not an option, so you'll probably do just fine. As he starts to walk off across the field towards a structure in the distance, you call after him. Wait! You follow him into the milking parlor, and the smell of hay, manure, and just a little lingering musk from his cologne hits you like a wave. That's it. Just good luck, goodbye, and if you think about it, you're the one who got me into this mess in the first place. How exactly do you figure that? Are you kidding? I literally wouldn't be here without you. He whirls around, frowning. Under his gaze, beads of sweat form on your forehead. You're really gonna go to the trouble of leading this horse all the way to the water and then leave without helping me drink? That's pretty much how the expression goes, Bo. I'm just saying, my success at the job's gonna depend on our close proximity. More incentive for you to get the job done, then. He grabs a broom and starts sweeping away the layer of hay coating the walkway. Ryder, this is serious. I think I'm gonna faint. Is it me or is it hot in here? You waver on your feet and he moves in without hesitation, looping his arms under yours to stabilize you. Whoa, hang on there. He holds you to his chest while you regain your composure, made all the more difficult as his hand rubs your back. You're looking a little green around the gills. Breathe in and out. Eyes still locked with yours. He takes a big, slow inhale to demonstrate, pressing his pecs harder against your body as he breathes. I'm better now. Here, I got an idea. He leads you over to one of the pens and takes your hand, placing your open palm on the head of one of the ranch's dairy cows. Are you sure about this? It's not gonna bite me or anything, is it? Of course not. Whenever I'm worried about something, which is quite a bit with Mandy around, this is what calms me down. The cow nuzzles into your palm as you pet her nose, and Ryder's calloused hand covers yours, helping you to center you. This is nice. You know, the cows are pretty easy to take care of for most of the time. Right. I was definitely talking about the cows. Ryder stifles a laugh and moves his hand from yours, but not without a light squeeze and a lingering drag of his fingers. As for Mandy, the girl's all flair. I haven't seen her birth a calf or muck a stall in years. You might be able to fumble your way through this. Maybe, but not without help. Your eyes light up as you look Ryder over. He shakes his head, stooping to half a sack of grain on his shoulder. Uh-huh. I'm already behind on my work. I showed you the bullpen, and you're the one who's gotta spin the lasso. Which will go a lot better with your help. And didn't your boss tell you to give me a tour? All I'm asking for is to be shown around, with a little ranching 101 on the side. I'll even make it worth your while. He enters the pen and empties the sack into the cow's trough, careful not to waste a single grain. How? Well, other than the pleasure of my good looks and amazing personality, he interrupts to grunt, but you notice he doesn't disagree. I promise to do whatever you say whenever you say it. If you say jump, I'll ask how high, and if you say beg, well, I promise I'll put my back into it. He gives the cow's ear a scratch before coming to stand next to you, the laugh lines around his eyes crinkling. Yeah, you're not actually gonna beg. Riding a wave of uncharacteristic boldness, you slowly start to sink to your knees, dragging a hand down his body to steady yourself. Ryder quickly grips your arms and pulls you back to your feet. Alright, you made your point. I want this job, Ryder. Does it need to be me? Any one of the hands could show you around. Don't think of it as showing me around. Think of it as getting to know your future coworker. Oh, so now you're confident. What can I say? Its close proximity is working its magic. I like to think our proximity last night was pretty magical too. As he fights the beginnings of a smile, he turns to survey all the work still left for him to do. A tour, some interview tips, and a chance to get to know me before you start. And I have to bark orders at you. Take it or leave it, either way I've got to get back to work. Consider me your shadow. Follow a rider to a nearby corral, and as you pass a grass field, he points at a spattering of cows on the horizon. Most of the cattle are free-range, so you'll spot them grazing at different spots around the ranch. They just go wherever they want? Is that allowed? The ranch is a lot bigger than it looks. It's all fenced, so the cows never stray from the property. Now these ladies over here... As he speaks, he hitches one boot on the edge of the corral, and you note how tight his jeans accentuate the ridges of his strong legs. You're staring at the wrong calves. Sorry, it's really hot out here. Attention spans about as bad as Mandy's. As I was saying, these ladies here are our problem children. They need a little extra attention. Watch as a baby cow prances around the circle. Oh, they're sweet. They don't look like trouble. Newborns always need an extra eye, so do the pregnancy cases and a handful of heifers we have under veterinary care. Are they all female? Not all of them, no. This is a dairy ranch. Dairy and dairy cattle are our main exports. He laughs as you take in the swelling pink udder of the cow nearest you. Knowing your way around a teat will go a long way in helping you around these parts. No sweat. I'm sure you've got expert hands. The gaze drops to his rough, capable hands before trailing up the sculpted muscles of his arms. I'd love to see what you can do when you have something soft and supple between your fingers. Famous last words, Belle. These hands are capable of a lot more than you realize. With a chuckle, he unhitches his boot and starts heading towards the back of the house. Where are we going? There's a lot more to see than just a few cows. Come on. He leads you to a series of buildings that sprawl out in front of you, like in what looks like an entire miniature town. The barns are pretty self-explanatory, but you'll also find our horse stables, storage buildings, employee row houses out here. Employee row houses? You mean those little cabins? They're not so cute during the busy season. We get upward of a dozen ranch hands living back here. I have a hard time picturing this place full of people. It's so beautiful and peaceful, just the way it is. It's not a bad place to live. Martinez Ranch is one of the few places I've worked where you don't have to share a bunk. So, I get my own cabin. It's gonna make it pretty hard for you to protect me. Who says I'd be willing to come to your rescue? You wouldn't come for me? Not even if I screamed? I feel like this is an innuendo. I guess that depends on what you're screaming. How about, oh, Ryder, please, I need you. Yeah, I might leave my room for that one. The tour continues in the direction of the barn, where a pair of farm ranch hands are busy nailing planks at the top of a ladder. I hope those two aren't afraid of heights. Heights, rattlers, spiders, the size of your head. You get over your fears pretty fast in a place like this. And what were you afraid of before you worked here? Nice try. I'm afraid that goes beyond that information. You need to get the job. Tell you what, I'll tell you a fear of mine if you share one of yours. I'm afraid you'll get this gig, and it'll be stuck with you forever. How's that? You think you're some kind of comedian, huh? Getting into the groove of your flirtation, you slyly lean against the barn. I bet the rattlers and spiders are afraid of you. Belle, don't... All of a sudden, the plank you're leaning against gives way beneath you, knocking against the ladder. Heads up! Your whole body freezes as you glance up to find a huge plank tumbling down and heading straight for you. Oh my god! A pair of strong arms grabs you around the waist, sweeping you out of the plank's path. You find yourself pinned against the side of the barn, Ryder's warm breath ragged in your ears. The plank falls with a crash. Easy does it, I've got you. You alright? I am fine. It'll take more than a little gravity to break me. I'm tougher than I look. I'm starting to see that. No, I'm not. Ryder's eyes to leave yours as he releases you and steps back, rubbing a rueful hand along the back of his neck. So, I was gonna take you through the barn, but I think we could use a moment instead. Come on. He reaches out to guide you around the fallen lumber just as you manage to step over it, and Ryder hastily pulls away. As you follow him into a gently sloping knoll to the shade of a massive oak tree, you clear your throat. Thank you, for that. You don't gotta thank me. Anybody would have done it. That's not been my experience, but it's nice to have somebody watching my back. He stops and you look out around you. From this vantage point, you can see for miles around you. That is gorgeous. Oh wow, I've never seen anything like this before. You let your gaze roam over the countryside, only to have it land on Ryder next to you. I take it in daily. The view is my favorite part of working here. I see why you love it. I hope I get to work here. I know I came here on a whim, but I really see myself building a life in a place like this. Everyone deserves a chance to build something on their own. Ryder watches you with an intent expression, and you realize you aren't sure what to make of it, or him. If I remember correctly, you promised me interview tips. Got anything good for me? Best thing I can tell you is that Mandy loves this place, even more than you seem to. Don't be afraid to let her know you're a fan. So, I should suck up, tout how perfect it is, throw myself at her mercy and beg to stay. The opposite, actually. Mandy sometimes lets ingenuity get in the way of practicality, but I'll be damned if she's not willing to take a risk. Contributing new ideas always goes a long way with her as well. So compliment the pace, but don't be afraid to say where it's resting on its laurels. She won't be offended? No. For all the bluster with me, Mandy's a bit of a pushover. If you can make a case, you can steer her exactly where you want her to go. Why, Ryder? If I didn't know any better, I'd say you wanted me to get the job. God, I hope so. Otherwise, this whole day is a sunk cost. I barely got anything done, but that's alright. He loafs over to you, taking long, languid strides until he's towering in front of you. I'll have plenty of help once you ace this interview, you know. Getting this job might be easy, but the real work will be keeping it once you're under my direction. And as your heart pounds in your chest, Ryder coyly slips past you, trotting down the hill without another word. By the time you make it back to the mountain house, Mandy's waiting for you outside. If you're ready, I figured we'd make this an official thing and hold the interview in my study. I'm all yours. The long walk through the stately house leaves you feeling jittery but excited. Huh. And here I thought I was interviewing to be a ranch hand and not taking an exam. Ouch. I know my dad's design taste is a little dated, but SAT prep room bad? Oh, no offense, man. Honestly, I wouldn't mind playing student if you were my teacher. I might even stay up all night cramming, assuming you like that sort of thing, that is. You're a bold little thing, aren't you? I like a ranch hand with some spunk. Mandy laughs, her lips spread in a gorgeous, breathtaking smile. I assume this is the part where we talk all things cows? Mandy waves the question away with a twirl of her fingers. I leave all the ranching stuff to Ryder. My dad lets me run this place because they know I'm more of a business mogul than a cowgirl. You recall what Ryder said about Mandy and the risks she's willing to take for the sake of her ranch. This is my chance to prove what a good fit I am for the job. I heard you had some pretty big ideas about improving the ranch. I'd love to hear about them if you don't mind. Mind? You think a woman like me ever turns down the chance to talk about herself? Most women don't. Her eyes sparkle as she settles more comfortably on the edge of her desk. People don't mind or don't think it to look at me, but I grew up here. I've been itching to bring the ranch into the 21st century for years. Rodeo days, community events, animal meet and greets. What ideas are you bringing to the table? Well, if you want to modernize, eco-friendly, you're literally already a barn and farm. As for cottagecore vibe, I have no clue. Start with construction. Some projects are bigger than just a handyman. And you don't want to be in a situation where you're, say, leaning against a wall and nearly get smashed by a plank. Oddly specific, but logically sound. Ryder is always going on about how we can't afford it. Well, it wouldn't break the bank to rent some higher-end equipment now and then. I'm so glad we're on the same page. I could use more people like you around. Well, you're in luck because I happen to be a person like me. But this interview's far from over, hon. She walks over to the pool table and picks up a cue. Tossing a coy look over her shoulder, she carefully chalks the tip. I've seen a top like that somewhere, I swear it. I always find the best way to know if someone's right for the job is to see how well they can focus. You want to play pool now? What's wrong? Afraid you won't be able to concentrate? She lifts the Q-tip to her mouth. Well, losing eye contact, she pushes her lips and blows the blue dust away. This way, we can get to know each other better, and I can decide whether or not you'll make the cut my own way. You can't look away as Mandy leans slowly across the table. Her hips strain and sway as she starts racking the balls. This will not work on me. Unless you're chicken. I see what Pixelberry is trying to do. It's cute. Challenge accepted. You saunter over to the pool cues and pluck one from the table. You'll do nicely. Sliding it slowly between your fingers, you turn to face your prospective new boss. Go ahead, do your worst. And he gives a playful waggle of her finger and steps closer, maintaining eye contact. You're awfully confident for someone who hasn't got the job yet. And you and I both know if that was a problem, you'd have ended the interview by now. Mandy holds her proximity to you a second longer before turning away and busying herself with the triangle rack. True, but why don't we see how long it lasts? Since I racked him, I'll let you decide whether or not to break. She steps aside, giving you access to the table and raises an eyebrow in challenge. Choosing to break shows I'm decisive, but letting her go first might just give me the edge. I'll see what you can do. I'm here to learn from the best. As far as I can tell that's you. More flattery. You'd better be careful, Belle, or I might just start to think you like me. With a flutter of her long eyelashes, she bends slowly over the table, giving you the perfect view down her top. As her breasts strain against the knitted fabric, you clear your throat. Maybe you might want to try a different position. Her warm, liquid gaze meets yours over the top of the orange felt. I haven't met a position I don't like, but you can't rush a woman like me. I like to take my time and do things right. She blows out a long breath before sliding the pool cue between her fingers. You can't look away as she thrusts gently. Looks like letting me go first was your mistake, but now I've got you exactly where I want you. You're playing dirty. Is it my fault you got distracted? Your eyes should be following the ball. Your heart gives a stutter as she bends in front of you to line up a shot. As the ball coasts in, she does a little victory dance. And that's how it's done. Lucky shot. Trust me when I say everything I'm good at comes from good old-fashioned hard work. No luck here. She lines up her next shot with a playful sway of her hips. And if you're going to work on the ranch, you're going to need to learn when to work harder and when to work smarter. You cross over to the other side of the pool table and prop your hip against it, giving Mandy a clear view of your thigh and backside. What do you think you're doing? I'm working smarter. If you can distract me, there's nothing stopping me from doing the same. Not that your pose isn't picturesque, but you'll have to do a little bit better than that. Without hesitation, she unleashes a powerful thrust and sends a ball into the pocket nearest your leg. Damn. Did it work? No, but thinking like that is exactly what I was hoping to see. So tell me, what interests you most about ranching? No, I'd have to say, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. I need something new. Just way out of my comfort zone. A complete change of scenery. And what would you say is your comfort zone? You managed to fight off an intrusive thought of life with Cal, which isn't too hard if you meet Mandy's deep brown eyes. The people in my life don't think I can branch out. I figured if I can, it's not gonna be under anyone's thumb. Okay. Now you're just pulling thoughts from my head. You get bored easily, because ranch life can be mundane, too. I don't think that'll be an issue. And he tells me you'd keep me plenty busy. She considers you for a long moment before nodding. Good answer. I can tell you and I are going to become very close. Instead of asking another question, Mandy lines up her next shot. It bounces off the rail and splits two shots, or split shots, two balls into separate pockets. Come on, how are you so good at this? I should have warned you that I'm known as a little bit of a pool shark around these parts. I mean, can you imagine if I sucked? After the show I just put on? At this rate, I'll never get a chance to play, let alone get a shot in. I need to try harder to get in her head. Seduce her into screwing up, help her with her form. I think she knows all about her form. Believe it or not, I love watching you sweep the whole table. Don't tell me you're giving up, Belle. Not even close, but there's just something about seeing a strong, powerful woman like you on top. Come out on top, you mean? Right. Slip of the tongue. As Mandy watches, you casually draw your hand up the pool stick, tracing your finger lightly around the chalked nub. Is this you flirting to try and throw me off? Because two can play this game. She leans over the felt, allowing her chest to push up against the edge, and with every breath, the soft, slow, round swells of her breasts rise and fall. One other plus about having me on the ranch is that when I set my mind to something, I don't just try. As she drives the pull cue forward, you pinch the nub between your fingers, your eyes never leaving hers. I do. Her eyes slip from their target onto you, causing her shot to hit an awkward angle of the cue ball, spins wildly into the pocket. You made me scratch on purpose. All's fair in pool and in war. Mandy releases a low laugh. You wouldn't know if she was seething or smirking, if it wasn't for the hint of hunger in her voice. Well played, Belle. I like it when my employees have a few tricks up their sleeve. Do you naturally flirt this much with all your new employees? You won't like it as much when I sink these next few balls. You line up, dropping the E11 neatly into the hole. Boom, baby. But when you miss your next shot, Mandy steps up to the table with a confident grin. My turn. She takes round after round, the balls clinking into place with practice ease, and as she lines up the 8 ball and sinks it, your heart sinks. Why do I get the feeling I've just been grifted big time? Because you totally have. It's way of life in these parts. Ranching boils down to survival of the fittest. You reach past Mandy to rack your cue, and as she turns, you realize you've accidentally trapped her between you and the wall. If you're trying to prove you're the fittest between us, at least give our girl a heads up. A wave of heat pulses between your bodies, and your eyes lock. With a stammer, you start to draw back. Sorry, I was just trying to, I'm kidding. But if you want me to move, you'll have to make me. She's so close, I can almost taste her lipstick. This must be one last little test. I'll play chicken with her. Physically move her. Play chicken. Instead of pulling away, you lean closer. Your cheek practically brushes against hers as you deposit your cue back in the rack. You're the boss. Whatever you say goes. You linger a moment longer, your bodies pressed softly against one another. The heat from her bare skin is so hot it almost scorches you. Oh. As you pull back, it's to find her eyes wide and a dazed expression on her face. That'll teach her to play with fire. I have to say, this was one of the most interesting job interviews I've ever held. You and me both. I just hope the job wasn't contingent on me actually winning the game of pool. You try not to sound as desperate as you suddenly feel. Everything in my life comes down to this moment. Before you decide, let me assure you that I'll do anything it takes to land this position. You clasp your hands in front of you in a pleading gesture. Swear I've seen this, in a video somewhere. No, I'm kidding. I'll just say. Is there a casting couch somewhere? I don't just want this job, I need it. You're my last hope. Well, in that case... Mandy tugs her lower lip between her teeth in deep concentration. You hold your breath as you wait for her to speak. Congratulations, Belle. You start at sunrise tomorrow. Ryder will get you settled in. She holds her hand out, giving softly her tapering fingers, inviting you to take them in yours. You skip the handshake, wrap your arms around her, every one of her soft curves yielding against you. You have no idea how happy you just made me. If happiness does this to you, I can't wait to see what else you've got hiding under there. You hold her a moment longer before letting go, enjoying how easily she accepts your embrace. Thanks again for the opportunity, Mandy. I promise I'll deliver. I'm counting on it. I can't believe I did it. The Martinez Ranch was dazzling before, but as you bask in the afternoon sunlight, it takes on a new meaning. I get to call this place home. All at once, the details of the ranch become clear. The huge cattle, rustled outbuildings, and the light scent of manure carried on the breeze. Light scent of manure, do you really think about that? Now that I've got the job, how the hell am I actually going to do it? You suddenly feel a vibration in your pocket and check the message. What do you think you're doing? You think I'm going to come looking for you? When you're ready to crawl back, I will be here. Your blood boils at your ex's audacity as you stuff your phone back in your pocket, a newfound determination rising within you. I don't care what it takes, come hell or high water, I will make this work. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description, plenty of links to check out, ways to support the channel, this community, and also ways to become more of an intricate member of this family that we have here. With that being said, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of the chapter so far in the story. With that being said, thank you all for watching, and yeah, it's okay so far. Catch y'all later. Peace out.